بسم الله والصلاة والسلام على رسول الله رب اشرح لي صدري ويسر لي أمري واحلل عقدة من لساني يفقه قولي أما بعد السلام عليكم ورحمة الله وبركاته. My dear brothers and sisters in Islam, in our last video we covered why is it that the fire burning inside of us in the beginning of the month of Ramadan should not be extinguished. Bi-idhnillahi ta'ala, in today's video we will cover a structure that both you and I can follow for the best result in the month of Ramadan so that we may bear its fruits. Now let us cover what the current system or structure is that the people follow. Unfortunately, as I mentioned in the last video, for the first 5 or 10 days, you find that the people, they do every single good deed that they can find. Whatever they can think of, they start doing. And I'm not saying doing these good deeds is a bad thing. Wallahi, trust me, the best people are those who try to excel them in the number of good deeds that they do. But I'll explain to you why it has a negative impact. Now, after the 11th or the 12th day, you find that the people, they slowly start to exhaust themselves. They start to burn out. By the 20th or the 22nd day, you find that the people, they slowly start returning back to the normal ways. And some of them, they already returned back to the normal ways. They start doing the bad deeds that they used to do. And they stop the new good deeds that they adopted, return back to normal. And then comes the 27th night. In the 27th night, subhanAllah, the spirits are lifted up again. And they start doing all kinds of ibadah again. Ibadah all night. As soon as the night finishes, khalas, their ibadah is finished. And they return back to their normal ways. So my dear brothers and sisters, the reason why this structure is bad is not only the fact that it wastes the time given to you in the month of Ramadan, it destroys the beauty, the virtue, the purpose of the month of Ramadan. Plus, it wastes the time and effort that you put in the first 10 to 15 days. Imagine if Allah does not accept your good deeds because you went back to them anyway, and the tawbah that you done, the repentance that you done, did not seem like it was sincere. So my dear brothers and sisters, bi-idhnillahi ta'ala, I want to share with you a structure that you can follow so that this does not happen, bi-idhnillahi ta'ala. The first most crucial thing is the niyyah. Before you start anything, before you begin anything, any preparation for the month of Ramadan, set your niyyah. And let me tell you why. You see, the intention is looked down upon, but it is the most integral part of Islam when it comes to actions. You see, the Prophet ﷺ said, and it's mentioned in the first hadith of Sahih Bukhari. The Prophet ﷺ said, إِنَّمَا الْأَعْمَالُ بِالنِّيَّةِ. Indeed, your actions are judged based on the intentions. You see, my dear brothers and sisters, it does not matter what kind of good deed you're doing. Say you could be doing jihad, you could be praying all the time, you could be reading the entire Quran every single day, you could be giving lectures, you could be giving charity, all kinds of things. But on the day of judgment, if Allah reveals to you and tells you that you done it not for the sake of Allah, but for the sake of people, for the sake of showing off, khalas, there's no value of the ibadah that you done. No matter how hard it was, Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala will tell you, go get the reward from the people you done the good deed for. So it's important we set our intention. So set your intention. What do you want to achieve by the end of Ramadan? What do you want to change in yourself? What do you want to start doing? All these kind of things, plan them out and set your intention to achieve them bi-idhnillahi ta'ala. And Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala already gave you a goal. Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala has said in the Quran, in Surah Baqarah, كتب عليكم الصيام كما كتب على الذين من قبلكم لعلكم تتقون. Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala says in the Holy Quran, fasting has been prescribed upon you as it was prescribed upon those before you, so that you may attain piety. So Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala has already given us this end goal that we should hope to achieve. Now set your niyyah that no matter what happens, I want to be able to achieve this by the end of the month of Ramadan. I want to be able to attain the forgiveness of Allah Azza wa Jal. I want to be able to raise the ranks, my ranks in the eyes of Allah Azza wa Jal. No distraction, nothing at all can stop me from achieving this goal. When you have this strong burning intention inside of you, watch how easy it becomes to move towards your goal. And then an important part is in the month of Ramadan, given that we sin for like 11 months, you can't expect yourself to become an angel on the first day. So it's important that every single day you renew your intention. You see, the Prophet, when some people, when they compare to the lifetime of the Prophet ﷺ or the Sahabi, in their time, the Prophet ﷺ and the Sahabi, they used to do ibadah 24/7. So when they came to a month like the month of Ramadan, all they done was excel themselves in ibadah. This was not hard for them. So if they, for example, if they set the intention in the beginning of the month, that's all what they probably needed to do, because it's not something that's new for them. There's very little chances they would divert from their path. It's for people like us that we need to renew our intention every single day. Now, after you set your intention, you need to prepare for the month of Ramadan. Like I mentioned before, we are drowning in sin for 11 months. So we're in a very bad, low position. I'm not pointing fingers on anyone. It's with everyone, including me. We're drowning in sin for 11 months straight. We disobey Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala in all kinds of ways. We hardly strive to do more good deeds. Which basically, some of us stick to the fara'id, and there's some people who don't even go for the fara'id. They just, if they ever find time to do a good deed, they'll do a good deed, but good deeds are not their priority. So what the point is, when we're in this low state, it is not possible for us to just to just enter this marathon and race like amazing athletes. You see, we can compare this month of Ramadan to a marathon race. When a marathon race is coming up, like I said, if you're not an athlete that runs 24/7 like every now and then, you're going to be someone that needs to prepare. So you're going to start practicing running, you're going to start jogging, walking, whatever it is. You're going to start preparing yourself for the marathon. And in the same way, you get the basics right for the month of Ramadan. The month of Sha'ban is not to be looked down upon. Unfortunately, even in a hadith where Usama ibn Zayd, when he said to the Prophet ﷺ, Ya Rasulullah, I do not see you fasting in any other month as much as you fast in the month of Sha'ban. The Prophet ﷺ said the month of Sha'ban is looked down upon between Rajab and Ramadan. In this month, Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala raises the good deeds. And so, I do not want my good deeds to be raised in any other condition other than me fasting. So the Prophet ﷺ took this opportunity, the month of Sha'ban. It is important. The Prophet ﷺ used this opportunity to also fast. There's another hadith of Aisha radiallahu anha, where the Prophet where she says about the Prophet that he used to fast almost all of Sha'ban. Sometimes he used to fast all of Sha'ban, and sometimes he used to fast most of Sha'ban. But he used to use this Sha'ban as a time for his own preparation, as a time for his own excellence. So we should also use this month. This month is also blessed. You can fast in this month of Ramadan. Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala raises your good deeds. So use this as an opportunity to excel yourself. Start preparing. You don't need to be a number one person in the month of Sha'ban. Just start preparing with the very basics. Say, for example, your salah. Get your 5 daily prayers right. And don't start straight away with all 5 daily prayers every single day, because obviously as a person that doesn't pray, it's going to be a burden upon you. So start slow. Start saying maybe 3 or 4 days a week, and start upgrading until you find yourself all 7 days a week. Basically, get the fara'id right. Start getting yourself in the habit of doing a lot of ibadah, so that when the month of Ramadan comes, you are prepared. And then comes the month of Ramadan, or the start of the marathon race. The reason I compare it to a marathon race, because the marathon is like when you're trying to race, when you're trying to race to the finish line for the greatest results. And since it's a long run, or at least feels like a long run, a lot of people, they struggle. But the fruit that they bear at the end is worthwhile. The same way, the month of Ramadan should be a race to grind as many good deeds as you can. And Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala helps you with that. He removes all your obstacles. Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala multiplies your good deeds several times. So use this month to grind. But even then, when you start the marathon, you don't begin sprinting from step one. You start sprinting towards the final, say, 100 meters. The first, say, 100 meters, or sometimes kilometer, 2 kilometer, you start up with a slow jog, build up on that jog, start, say, jogging faster, but you would build up on it. It's a step-by-step process. It's not a straight process. So the same way for the month of Ramadan, make your goals, set up your goals. You have an end goal, taqwa, piety, that a goal that Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala has set up for you. Set your own goals as well. Say, for example, if you're someone that does not read the Quran, I want to be able to develop the habit of reading at least one juz every day by the end of the month of Ramadan. Beautiful goal. How do we achieve it? Set up smaller goals throughout the month. For the first 5 days, I want to be able to read at least 2 to 4 to 5 pages. Bi'inillahi ta'ala. So start pushing yourself towards those 5 pages every single day. And meanwhile, also drop a bad habit. Say, by the end of the month of Ramadan, I want to be able to stop swearing, stop using foul language completely. Beautiful goal. Halas, the first 5 days, try your best to not use the biggest swear words that you normally use. Start with a step-by-step process. Obviously, if you're someone who's just immediately going to stop stopping swear, you're going to find yourself in a situation where out of frustration, you're just going to start swearing again. Sorry. So, this, stop one bad deed, adopt one good deed. For the first 5 days, build a small goal. And then say the next 5 days, if you're someone who was not able to develop the habit, continue working towards building the habit of reading 5 pages a day. When you feel comfortable with it, say add another 5 pages, add another 5 pages, add another 5 pages, all the way till the 20th day, when you're reading a juz per day. And in the last 10 nights of the month of Ramadan, excel yourself. You see, there's the hadith of the Prophet ﷺ that in the last 10 nights, he used to wake up his family and used to excel himself more than any other time of the year. So these last 10 nights, obviously he's doing all kinds of ibadah in the year. And then comes the month of Ramadan, he excels himself. But in these last 10 nights, it's like that final 100 meters. So he just sprints for it, grinding out as many good deeds as he possibly could. So in the same way, now to make sure that habit stays within you, what you could do for a grind is, instead of reading 1 juz every day, try reading 1.5 juz or 2 juz every single day for the last 10 nights. So that habit of you reading the Quran every now and then, using your spare time, learning how to put these 20 pages or these 30 pages or these 40 pages in your daily schedule, you will be able to keep that and you'll be able to retain that, so that when the month of Ramadan completes, then you have that chance, a very strong chance of being able to keep the good habit that you developed, and you'll be able to retain avoiding that bad habit that you stopped doing in the month of Ramadan. This is the structure. Unfortunately, here's where a lot of people mess up. You see, in the month of Ramadan, they do all kinds of good deeds, but the people, unfortunately, nowadays, they believe that the effort, the time, the good deeds are only for the month of Ramadan. It is essential that whatever good deed that you adopted, let it be, say, 2 or 3 good deeds that you developed, or even that one good deed that you developed. But whatever you developed, And whatever bad deed that you left, keep it, stay firm on it. That's the whole point of you excelling yourself in the last 10 nights of the month of Ramadan, so that you may be able to retain whatever you gained out of the month of Ramadan. Otherwise, you'd find yourself starting from the very basic position you began with in the first place. Remember, if say for example your name's Muhammad, you were a different Muhammad when you started the month of Ramadan, before the month of Ramadan, when you started the month of Ramadan, and now when the month of Ramadan finished, you are a brand new person. You can't go back to your normal ways. Otherwise, every time a new Ramadan comes, you're basically just going back to the same position you were in before, wasting the month of Ramadan. This month of Ramadan, think of it as an opportunity to better yourself every time. Every Ramadan that you're blessed with, improve your personality, improve your qualities, improve your attributes, so that say in 10 years time, if you would say adopt 20 good deeds, say 2 good deeds every month of Ramadan, and if you were to leave 2 bad deeds every Ramadan, in about 10 years you would have adopted 20 good deeds and you would have left 20 bad deeds. You're excelling yourself, raising your ranks in the eyes of Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala, unlike other people. May stand yourself out and help teach other people as well how to use the Ramadan efficiently and to retain themselves, so that we've truly served the purpose of the month of Ramadan. Jazakallah khair wa barakallahu feekum. Before you leave, if you have any question, please leave them in the comment section below. And bi'idhnillahi ta'ala, we'll try answering them as fast as possible. Remember, your question could be the very thing that inspires my next video creation, bi'idhnillahi ta'ala. Or it may even be one of the golden questions that I keep aside for a very special occasion that I will reveal to you, bi'idhnillahi ta'ala, next month. Jazakumullahu khair. Assalamu alaikum wa rahmatullahi wa barakatuh.